When did you completely misjudge someone? For me, it wasn't a person, it was a dog. When I was in my early 20s, I developed a chronic illness that left me in too much pain to hold down a job. Luckily, my family is amazing, and between their help and my disability payments, I was able to get by financially. But I really struggled with feeling like I wasn't contributing to society anymore. So I got a position as a volunteer at an animal shelter near my house. It wasn't too physical, and it was only once a week, so I was able to get through my shifts without anyone knowing about my disability. My first day there, I met a beautiful golden lab named Samson. Samson was 6 years old, and all I knew about his history was that he was surrendered by his owners. Usually that means the dog has behavioral issues. Hit a kid, couldn't be housebroken, something like that. A lot of the dogs would be excited to see me when I got there because they knew they were getting walks and treats, but not Samson. He would just lie in his cage, refusing to interact with anyone. Whenever families came in looking for a dog, they'd look right past Samson and choose a young, energetic puppy instead. I couldn't exactly blame them. Samson sure didn't seem friendly to me either. But one day, everything changed. I was having a really rough week with my disease, and I was in a ton of pain. I considered calling out sick, but I thought hanging out with the animals might make me feel better. By the time I got off the bus for my shift, I knew showing up was a mistake, and I was going to be completely useless. And I wasn't ready to tell the people at the shelter what was wrong with me, so I didn't know how I was going to handle it. But as soon as I walked into the dog's room and started opening up their cages, Samson lifted his head up and looked at me. And when I got to his cage, he did something he'd never done before. He walked out to me, and when I offered him a treat, he took it, and then he nuzzled his head into my hand. For my entire shift, Samson never left my side. And not only that, but he helped me get my work done. When I needed something on the floor, he picked it up in his mouth and offered it to me. When I had a hard time walking, he glued himself to my leg to brace me and help hold me up. I couldn't believe it. When I had to put him back in the cage at the end of my shift, he started whimpering, and it broke my heart. I went and found my boss and told her how he'd been attached to me all shift and asked if something had changed with him. That's when I found out the truth about Samson. He hadn't been surrendered by his owners because of a behavioral issue. He was never a pet at all. He had been a service dog to a little girl with a devastating illness. They'd been inseparable for 5 years, while he helped her with every single aspect of her life. But a few months before I started at the shelter, the little girl passed away. Samson was heartbroken, and the little girl's parents couldn't bear to take care of a grieving dog when they were just trying to hold themselves together. Every time they looked at Samson, all they saw was their daughter who was supposed to be by his side. So they gave him up. Samson wasn't a mean dog who didn't like people. He was a dog who'd lost everyone he loved and his only purpose in life. I realized that seeing me in pain must have made him feel like he had a purpose again, just like taking care of the animals was what made me feel like I still had a purpose after getting sick. Samson needed me just as much as I needed him. I filled out an application to adopt him that same day. Since then, Samson's been my service dog, my best friend, and the best chronic illness perk anyone could ever wish for.